Good morning, fellow Plexers. I wanted to make a short video just on a topic of a Plex music library. I've just spun up a new Unraid server to test out while pointing my media back to my Synology DS1520 NAS. And a year and a half ago or so, I had a project where I used Brainz Picard to go through my old music collection and upgrade the metadata. And I know I probably missed things here or there. So my music library has been scanning into the Unraid server for about 10 minutes now. And I just wanted to point out some things. My metadata may not still be perfect, but you're always going to end up with artist entries that you may not expect, especially if you have compilation albums. So let's start with that. This New American Orchestra, I don't have a artist listing for that, and if I click into it, I see it's a movie soundtrack for Blade Runner. Well, the best I can do is take my movie soundtrack collection, or all the movie soundtracks I have, and add them to a Plex collection if I wanted to see them that way. There is no artist titled movie soundtracks. I might be able to manually create one, but I don't really want to try to figure all that out. I'll just add this to a collection and be done with it. So I really can't get rid of this artist. It's actually part of the metadata, the real metadata. So that may look goofy being there, but it just is what it is. I'm not sure why I'm copying instead of backing up. And then another example, I have a Ray LaMontagne artist, and I have Ray LaMontagne and the Prairie Dogs. I could select each one and choose the three dots and merge them if I wanted to. But I'm perfectly fine leaving the two separate selections. And if I click into the regular artist and slide down, it looks like I've got one album that doesn't have metadata. Now, Plex depends on embedded metadata instead of structure. It does depend on structure if you've got nothing else, but a music library needs embedded metadata. So the embedded metadata, if it's complete, will match up with online sources, and you'll get your descriptions. And you can actually get posters from either the embedded metadata or from the online source. So this album has both, which is why you see both. So if I back out and click into this album, it doesn't have any metadata that it pulled. It only had enough embedded metadata to know who the artist was and to know what the album name was. And the track listing. So at the very basic level, a Plex library needs the artist title, the album title, a date, and it doesn't look like there's a date embedded in this album's metadata, and it needs a poster, which doesn't look like it's embedded either. So this is something I must have missed when I was processing all my music with Brainz Picard. Brainz Picard will check online sources.
You have a text message.
Excuse me. We'll check online sources and then make a match just like any other library and bring all the metadata in for you. Well, if it just has enough metadata to identify the artist without being able to make a match, this is what you end up with. So depending how picky you are, you can take albums like this and fix them, or add enough of your own metadata where it'll pull the correct poster from that embedded metadata. Now, I'm not too picky. I'm probably not going to go back and fix that up. But if we enter these, you will see that we've got embedded metadata for all of them. So, I don't have it for that album, but it does have the poster embedded in the metadata. So this is a perfect example of not really making a match, but the embedded metadata having enough to pull the cover for the album. So that's about it. That's just a little basic on a music library, that things will never ever be perfect, but they may be good enough. And if you really want to spend the time making things perfect, you can embed as much metadata you want yourself, manually or with the help of Music Brainz Picard, if there is a matching online entry for that program to pull metadata from. So let's see what else has come in just before we cut this. So here's another example. Here's this compilation album called Romantic Sax by the Gino Marinello Orchestra. And if you weren't expecting this, you might not want to have a compilation album in your collection, because you can't have one without the other. Thanks for watching.